Hello again, precious friends, and welcome back once again to Chef Patty's Kitchen on the Carnivore Hippie channel. I've apparently been kind of remiss in reminding you all to like and subscribe and share. So I guess I'll be doing that from now on. Just be prepared. Anyway, today I am fixing a special treat for myself. I found at the supermarket they had steelhead on sale. Now, some people call it steelhead salmon. Let me show you this. Some people call this steelhead salmon because it does look like a salmon. It is not a salmon. It is a trout. And basically what it is a rainbow trout that has migrated down to the salt water. This usually happens in the Pacific Ocean. And it has what they call become anadromous. It lives in the salt water for a while and then goes back upstream and behaves very much like a salmon in that respect. This is farmed. And the reason I like it is because, according to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Seafood Watch, farm-raised steelhead is sustainable, whereas farmed salmon oftentimes is not. So if you look for steelhead, the flavor is very similar, but it is much more sustainable than farmed salmon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here on the other underside. And as you see, you can see I don't know if you can see the little red streak. You can see the little rainbow that identifies it as a trout as opposed to a salmon. And you can see that fish nowadays are very rarely sold scaled. So we're going to have to scale this. I don't have a fish scaler, but that's okay because I don't really feel like I need one because you can do it with a knife. If I ate fish every day, I'd probably invest in a scaler. But what I got here is a stack of little paper towels that are torn into squares. And I'm going to put one right here. And I'm going to take my knife and I'm gripping it like we talked before. I'm gripping it with my 3 fingers around the handle and 2 fingers around the very end of the blade right next to the guard, right? And then we're going to take it and starting at the tail end, we're going to tip our knife and we're just going to start scraping. And then once we get a bunch of scales on our knife, we're just going to wipe them off on the paper towel. And we're just going to keep going. It's going to make a mess. That's okay. You're going to have to stop and clean it up anyway. Sometimes it's helpful to go in different directions to help get the scales off, but pretty much what you want to concentrate on is scraping tail to head. When you get down to the edge, sometimes it helps to move the fish down to the edge of the board so you can get your knife angled properly without scraping it against the board. Now this little piece of the tail right here, since you have to scrape this way, can be kind of problematic. Sometimes what I do is just the part of the tail that's difficult. I just cut that off. I fry this side up in a skillet and just peel the scaly skin off. But you can save yourself all this trouble just by taking the skin off and throwing it away, but I love fish crackling. So to me, it's worth it to go through this effort. Sometimes the scales right across the midline right here are quite stubborn. So, okay, now that that's done, I'm going to have to take this over to the sink and wash it off because the scales are kind of slimy and very sticky. So I'm going to go wash this off and clean this board up, and I'll be right back. Here we are back, friends. We have our piece of salmon, or rather our steelhead right here. Some of you perspicacious people will no doubt notice some signs that this fish is not absolutely the freshest. That is not the fault of the fishmonger, by the way. That is my fault. I wanted to make you a video and life got in my way, and this spent a day longer in the refrigerator than it should have. So it's still perfectly edible, and the ragged appearance is my own fault. So we're just going to ignore it and pretend that it is the pristine piece of fish that we wish it were. So here's the belly part, and the belly part is very thin, and it tends to be fattier than the rest of the fish. It does cook very, very quickly. So what I like to do when I'm portioning my fish is just cut the belly off like that. That knife is not very sharp. I'm going to get my sharp knife. Of course, fish skin is notoriously difficult. But here we go. Fish skin is very tough. And what I will do is I will just cook this little bit up along with my other little tail piece as a snack for another time. Now we have a lovely, pretty much even piece of fish to portion out. Now, seriously, I could eat this entire piece of fish in one sitting, but I won't. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. And the tail end is a little bit thinner than the head end, so you could cut the tail piece a little bit bigger to kind of even it out. So now we have our 4 beautiful fish portions. Like I said, that could be one meal for me, but I think I'll eat it in 2 pieces, in 2 meals. You can easily eat that. To season this fish, I love the flavor of it just as it is. So for me today, it's going to be salt and pepper. Redmond real salt. Of course, you can season your fish the way ever you like it. And I have here some white pepper, freshly ground. And I do not tend to season the skin side of my fish. I don't think it makes much difference, and I find, flavor-wise, and I find that it interferes with getting the crispness of the skin the way I like it. So I'm going to get my pan ready now that we have our portions cut, and I'll be right back. And here we are, friends. We're going to get our pan heated up, and we are going to get this pan very, very hot. I've got my countertop induction hot plate or induction cooktop at the hottest temperature, which is 900 degrees. And we are going to get this pan very, very hot. We are going to put some bacon fat in here. You can use whatever kind of fat you want, but you do need to start even though the fish is relatively fat. It's not as fat as farmed salmon, but we do want to start with some fat in the pan because we're going to start it skin side down. And the skin has a lot of collagen. And collagen has a tendency to stick if you don't have some fat in the pan. So it's going to take a minute for our pan to heat up. And once we got it smoking hot, I will see you right back here. Okay, we're back, friends. I don't know if you can see it, but the pan has begun to smoke just a little bit, and that tells us we're ready. We're going to take our fish, and we are going to lay it skin side down. It's going to make noise. You see it shrink up? That's the skin compacting with the hot pan. That's what we want. Now we're just going to sit here and let this cook until the skin gets nice and crisp. This fish is going to cook about halfway through on this side. Now friends, if you look on the end of the fish, you'll see how the cooked portion, cooked color is climbing up the side of the fish. Depending on how rare you like your fish, when it gets about halfway up, you flip that puppy over. I like mine rare to well done. I like it any old way, so I'm going to flip mine. You can see how brown and crispy the skin has gotten. Now the fish is about halfway cooked, and now that the skin is rendered and crisped up, we can lower the heat. I'm going to lower the heat back to about medium. And it's just going to sit there for another minute or two and get done. What do you think of that? That looks beautiful to me. Now, friends, you all probably know by now I'm a garnish monkey. You can take the girl out of cooking school, but you cannot take the cooking school out of the girl. So, although a naked piece of this fish would be a treat in and of itself, what I have here, in my opinion, takes it to the next level. I have here some beurre blanc, which I will share that recipe with you. and some capers. I love capers. You garnish your fish the way you like it. You do you, boo-boo. And some chiffonade de persil. Parsley chiffonade. And just because, like I say, I'm a garnish monkey, I can't help it. Traditional French garnish for fish. There you are, friends. Isn't that pretty? Would you be proud to serve that to a guest? And if all you wanted to do is put the beurre blanc on it and none of the rest of the vegetation foolishness, you just do you. But I like it when my food looks pretty. And here we are, friends. Steelhead, more sustainable than salmon. Tastes very similar if you like salmon, but you're either not fond of the wild sort, or you can't get the wild sort, or you're concerned about Alaskan fisheries, which many people are. As I said, according to the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch, farmed steelhead is a very tasty, economical, and sustainable option. And you know what? If you serve this to your guests, they won't know the difference. This is delicious. It's difficult to tell the difference between this and salmon, especially the wild sockeye. It's very similar in texture. It's not as fatty as the Atlantic farm-raised salmon, but so the experts say it's better for the environment. Anyway, friends, that's it for today. I hope you try this fish. If you find some in your grocery store, be brave, give it a whirl. It's not hard, and there's nothing to be afraid of. Until we speak again, peace, love, and meat. Bye-bye.